In the beginning was Daytona.
Here we go.
The birthplace of speed, the launch pad of legends, the great American race.
Oh, they're in the wall.
It's always been,
Keep digging, stay in the gap.
and will always be, the proving ground for greatness.
Let's go, boys.
Every driver looking to be remembered. Every fan looking for something they'll never forget. Secure your seats now at Daytona500.com.
Roll Tide and welcome to this Thursday edition of Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. This is Roger Hoover. Great to be with you from our Tuscaloosa studios for just one show this week as we are in the football open date. We'll still have some football conversation coming up in just a little bit, but the Crimson Tide through 8 weeks of the season, 7-1, 5-0 in the SEC. We're thrilled with what football has done up until this point and excited about what's coming up in November. Also coming up in November, Crimson Tide basketball, so that's going to be a huge part of our focus for this show, as well as our first conversation that we'll have with Greg Byrne as we start to go through everything coming up on the show, thanks to our friends at RJ Young. RJ Young is the official technology solutions provider of Crimson Drive. They've given us a smart board to go through what's coming up on the show, starting with the resumption of our monthly interviews of the Director of Athletics for the University of Alabama, Greg Byrne, his thoughts on a variety of topics around the Crimson Tide football team, even basketball, baseball, softball. We kind of cover it all with Greg Byrne right off the top. And then we'll go to some of our coverage from SEC basketball media days that were held last week in Birmingham at the Grand Bohemian Hotel in Mountain Brook, and we were able to get a lot of content, conversations with the two head coaches for Alabama, Nate Oats with the men's team, Kristy Curry with the women's team, and then some player interviews as well. A huge thank you to Richard Hendrix, former Crimson Tide player who joined us and was able to get some of these interviews for us at SEC Media Days. Then we'll take a look back to the booth cam highlights for this past week as Alabama was able to pick up a win against the Tennessee Volunteers, so a strong performance there, and we look forward to taking a look back to some football with the booth cam highlights. Other headlines for us today here on Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. We'll start with this Crimson Tide football team that, of course, won on the third Saturday in October, 34-20. The final score, really a fun atmosphere at Bryant-Denny Stadium. The fans kind of delivered on what Coach Saban wanted in terms of energy, and it was just a special place to be, especially with all the cigar smoke in the second half. Jahad Campbell, the scoop and score, helped seal the win for Alabama, and for his fine play leading the Crimson Tide in tackles, he was named the Nagurski Defensive Player of the Week award by the Nagurski Award, in addition to being SEC Defensive Player of the Week. Will Reichard, SEC Specialist of the Week, of course the all-time leading scorer now in SEC history, added to that on Saturday against Tennessee, and he continues to climb up the NCAA list. And we also know the LSU kickoff time will be 6:45 coming up on Saturday, November 4th, so the Crimson Tide, the LSU Tigers, under the lights. One note, our radio coverage will start at 3:30 for that broadcast, so a little longer pregame show for Alabama against LSU here on the network. Taking a look at the Crimson Tide soccer team, last match fell 2-0 to Mississippi State. Crimson Tide had a lot of close calls early in that match, but just could not get a goal to score. Mississippi State had 2 in the second half, and that ended Alabama's 28-match undefeated streak at home. Just a remarkable stretch for Westhart and the Crimson Tide, dating all the way back to early September 2021 without losing at home, but Mississippi State gets the win on Sunday. Now tonight, it's Alabama against Missouri coming up at 5:30 to round out the regular season. Then after that, the SEC tournament in Pensacola, Florida. The Crimson Tide will finish this season, regular season at least, ranked 25th in the nation. So that means the entire season, Alabama ranked in the top 25. A great feat for Alabama as the Tide get closer and closer to the NCAA tournament. Taking a look at the volleyball team on Sunday, swept by the LSU Tigers. Now coming up on Friday, they will be at home against Mississippi State starting at 6 o'clock, so hope for a great crowd at Foster Auditorium. Then a few individual notes that we'll talk about in a few minutes with Greg Byrne. Nick Dunlap, part of Team USA, winning the World Amateur Championship. Just what a remarkable year he has put together. We are so excited for Nick Dunlap, as well as Luisa Blanco with Team Columbia, earning a spot in the 2024 Paris Olympics. So she's going to represent Alabama on the global stage along with her native country, Colombia. Just a great honor for Luisa Blanco. Nick Dunlap, a lot of winning going on in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and that keeps the Director of Athletics, Greg Byrne, very happy. A lot of reasons for him to smile. Here is our one-on-one conversation with Director of Athletics, Greg Byrne. And Greg, no football game to look forward to this Saturday. We needed the ratings boost. Welcome back to Crimson Drive. Roll Tide.
Yeah, I'm sure it. Hopefully, it doesn't hurt ratings too bad when you have me on. But anyways, it's good to be back, and obviously we're well into another year, and it's just a lot of excitement around the department, and it's great to feel the energy of another University of Alabama sports season.
It certainly has been exciting. Looking back to the summer, what did you like about the offseason preparation that you and your staff did to allow Alabama athletics to get off to a good start this fall?
Well, it's really year-round effort from our folks. We have such good people in our athletics department across the board in all of our areas, and obviously to have something, you just look at your backdrop there with Bryant-Denny Stadium and a night game, to put on an event of that magnitude takes a lot of heavy lifting from many people throughout athletics, through our university, through our community. And we're fortunate that we have great unity and efforts, to have it be as good an event for football as possible. But then you can't forget, during the fall, you have soccer, you have volleyball, you have our cross country teams going, softball plays a fall season, baseball plays a fall season, swimming's up and going now. I'm just trying to look. I hate the rowing's going. I want to make sure I don't forget anybody in the process. But a lot goes on to support 650 young men and young women and 350 staff members, and we're fortunate for the passion of our fan base as well. So during the summer months, July, we get a little bit of breathing time to kind of recharge for the year. But at the same time, too, even July, our operations team, our facilities team is doing a lot to prep our different facilities, including Bryant-Denny, to get ready for the year. So well into it, but we appreciate everybody's efforts on a throughout the year to create what we create here.
Well, it was a very special atmosphere for Crimson Tide football, really every home game that we've seen this season. But how about the noise we heard from the fan base during the Tennessee game, especially during that great second half comeback? That was really Bryant-Denny Stadium at its best.
Yeah, so this is my 7th football season, and in January will be 7 years since Dr. Bell hired me as the AD, which Regina and I still feel so fortunate to be a part of, and about as loud as I can remember at Bryant-Denny. And that was really special. Our fans made a huge difference. Coach Saban talked about it going into the game, the importance of them being engaged to making a difference, and they responded. And I know our marketing team did a good job putting that clip up of Coach Saban at the radio show, encouraging folks to be involved. And only the way he can do as well as he does it. And people responded to it, which was great.
You enjoy keeping up with Coach Saban's appearances on Hey Coach and the Nick Saban Show, and also the press conferences. I mean, I feel like we learned so much. He had a great talk about nothing a few weeks ago. I mean, I'm sure that's a treat for you.
Just working with him on a daily basis it's really special, as you can imagine, and his focus and his drive and his way he communicates to his team, to his staff. Our interactions. I go see him every Sunday during the season. Usually around 3:00 in the afternoon, and we just talk about different items that we need to discuss for the week. And he's a great communicator. He's a really good listener too, and but he has a purpose to it, which one of the many things that makes him so special in what he does. And and I can tell you, it's such an honor to watch him and how he operates and how he manages, and communication's a big piece of that. And was doing that to the fan base when he was encouraging them to say, hey, each of you are going to make a difference in our success against Tennessee.
It was really great to see. And of course, around homecoming weekend, there are so many great events that go on around campus, but I'm sure for you, one of the most special is at the Sarah Patterson Champions Plaza, just outside the Malmore facility, Coleman Coliseum, getting to recognize all the great things that happened a year ago, all the conference and national champions. We always like to look forward with Alabama athletics, but that helped really put in perspective how special on the court and on the field last season was for Alabama.
Yeah, it was a heck of a performance. So when you look at it overall for us as an athletics department, it was our second most successful year of competition in our history. Since we've been keeping track of the Learfield Cup and that measuring stick. And so we got to highlight, obviously, our men's basketball regular season and SEC championship team. We got to highlight our soccer SEC championship and then regular season, and then getting to the College Cup. our cross country teams going out and winning SEC championships. And so it was really, and then we had some individual national champions in track and in swimming as well. So it's really cool to see their hard work get permanently recognized out at Sarah's Plaza. And it's, a wonderful tribute to the young men and women in our programs that work so diligently. And, sometimes I've been asked for, what do you have for a favorite sport? And we all understand the importance of what we do from a football standpoint, the financial impact men's basketball can make on our program as well. But we care about all of our kids and all of their accomplishments, and I'm really proud of the efforts that they put in on a daily basis to give them a chance to compete at the highest levels here at Alabama.
So some new additions there, new additions as well to Bryant-Denny Stadium that we got to celebrate in September with the opening of the Advantage Center, focused on name, image, and likeness for Alabama student athletes. Work continues, of course, with Yay Alabama. Just where is Alabama right now in the NIL space, and how meaningful was it to have Learfield representatives here and open up the brand new Advantage Center?
Yeah, we really appreciate the partnership with Learfield Crimson Tide Sports Marketing. That was the first of its kind, the Advantage Center, and it's really true space that's dedicated for the young men and women in our program to develop themselves and their brand to who they are. That there's educational opportunities through there. There's places for their representatives, I should say, and different companies to meet and talk about potential NIL deals. There's a green room to film advertisements and such. And then there's a podcast area too. That's really what NIL was intended to be. And I really appreciate Learfield stepping up and leading the way and saying Alabama would be the best program to come out and partner with on this. So that was a great opportunity. Coach Saban was there to come by and that was during a Friday before a game. So it just showed you what an important event this was for our program. Our coaches are using it in recruiting. Our current student athletes are getting exposed to it, figuring out how the best use for their opportunities. So it's really a win-win situation across the board. And NIL is real. We have purposely tried to have our headlines be about things like the Advantage Center, the Authentic, our NIL store, and have it be things that really fit in the space of NIL and the intentions of it from the get-go. And I think it's putting our university and our athletic department and our young men and women in a very positive light.
You mentioned before all the different sports that are active right now in fall competition season, but I was really struck by some of the good crowds we saw for the baseball, the softball exhibitions. Before, it used to be just only friends and family may have gone to the games, but now you have so many fans going to Sewell Thomas Stadium, Road Stadium. Do you love kind of the fall atmosphere that's now around the Diamond Sports?
Yeah, it's great to see. I'm with my schedule. I'm not able to get out there a whole lot during the fall for our tennis programs, for our golf programs, and then obviously with baseball and softball. But I do try to stop by when I can, and it was really impressive to see. I think softball. We all know what Murph has built here and how special it is, and just to see that continue to spread in the fall a little bit is wonderful to see. And and then with Rob Vaughn coming to town, I was able to stop by briefly for the game against Auburn, one of the games against Auburn, and we had a good turnout, and it was really fun to see get the energy in the dugout, the way the kids have responded to his leadership, and JJ being back, and the new other staff members that are here, and got a couple good wins too. So that was fun to see as well. So that's bodes well. I think we are in a good position with both those sports for this year and for the future as well.
Some staff changes for both of those sports. Same could be said, of course, for men's basketball. Nate Oats has to have a whole new assistant coaching staff come in from one year to the next. How involved were you in that process, and how excited are you for the start of not only men's basketball, but women's basketball right around the corner as well?
Yeah, so from Nate's standpoint, we all know what he's doing here. I mean, how special it is, and let's keep the momentum going. We're working on that to support and to have all three of your assistant coaches get hired to be head coaches in one off season. That's pretty remarkable. It shows you that people are paying attention to what we're doing with Alabama men's basketball, and the future is very bright with that. So we're encouraged that the level of assistant coach that wanted to come here and be here And I'm involved as much as they want me to be involved, and I was involved a little bit with each of them. The three new staff members that Nate brought in. Obviously, we do all the background checks and all those things, but with my ties across the country, from a college athletic standpoint and men's basketball standpoint too, try to help out wherever Nate wants me to. And so really pleased with the job that he did in bringing in a really solid staff that, quite frankly, I'm sure as we continue to have success, there'll be other staff members in the future, because our assistants will continue to get head coaching jobs, which reflects extremely well on what we're doing here at UA for our men's basketball program. From a women's basketball standpoint, Kristy and her staff worked really hard to continue to build the roster, get us back to postseason, the NCAA tournament. We're doing that. And I really do think this could be one of the more talented teams we've had in quite a while this year. So I think there's a lot of excitement and anticipation for what's taking place with our women's team too. And I'm proud of the job that Kristy's doing with that.
And of course, we're always thrilled for the success that our student athletes have while they're representing Alabama. But we've had a unique opportunity over the last few years while you've been the athletic director, Ryan White, obviously the great performances in swimming. But this year in particular, Luisa Blanco just this week being named to the Olympic team for Columbia for the Paris Games next year. And then Nick Dunlap, every time we see his name, it seems like he's winning a tournament, helped leading Team USA to another victory, the U.S. Amateur champion this year. Just what a remarkable year those two have put together to help really represent Alabama well.
Yeah, Luisa, it was great to see. I don't even know what night it was. It may have been Sunday night. I got a text from Allison Jeffries, who helps work with gymnastics on a day-to-day basis with us. And she said, Lou made the Olympic team. So that was great. And I sent Lou a text yesterday. I tried calling her, but she was still overseas and I couldn't get her. But man, how proud we are of her accomplishments. And then what Nick continues to do. I think it was his latest international deal was in Abu Dhabi. Is that right?
Yes. The World Amateurs. Yes.
Yeah. And so they won that. And obviously he was on the Walker Cup at St. Andrews this year. And JC Will got to go over and be a part of that with him. And then not to mention he's here competing for us and won the tournament Birmingham this year in the fall. So Nick's a stud. He's doing a great job for us as a program. Proud of all his accomplishments, just like we are with Lou as well.
Really exciting time. And as we wrap up this interview, just what's your focus over the next few weeks? We are getting in one of those overlap months in November with kind of everything happening at once. So where is the focus for you coming up?
Everything is going on right now at once. It's that time of year now, between now and really the end of the spring, where you have a lot of your sports going all at once, and your kids are in the middle of academics. To be honest, I've spent a lot of time on NIL, and I've been our NIL entity that we call it, Yale Alabama. They've been doing a really good job of continuing to grow their brand. We've tried to give them the stage to do that. I've been working with them to try to continue to make sure that we are competitive from an NIL standpoint. It's really important for us from a recruiting standpoint. One of our absolute strengths is the fact that we are the University of Alabama. That's a great thing for us. We also cannot take that for granted, and that we have to continue to evolve and change with our industry and college sports. It's under a very disruptive time right now. Some of which can be good, some of which is very challenging, quite frankly. And so been working on that and been going around the state, even to some other states with that. Also been working, as you can imagine, on fundraising for the Crimson Standard and the arena. We had a good day yesterday, and we're just continuing to work on that day after day. And so, that is something that we have to have a financial model that can work, and we're working on that tirelessly. And so we'll continue to plug away at NIL, but make sure we're also working through making sure we're staying focused on our academics and our competition and supporting the young men and women in our program. And we can't thank our fans enough for everything they do for us.
We look forward to seeing them back at Bryant-Denny for the LSU game under the lights. It's going to be a fun few weeks here in Tuscaloosa. Greg Byrne, just thank you so much for your time and everything you're doing for Crimson Tide Athletics, and we look forward to visiting with you again. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. Thanks, Roger. Appreciate everybody out there.
Crimson Drive is driven by NASCAR, and NASCAR is kicking off the 2024 regular season with the Daytona 500 on February 18th, 2024. Don't miss the opportunity to experience history as the drivers battle it out at one of NASCAR's most iconic tracks. More than 100,000 fans will be on the edge of their seat as they watch drivers race for the win at nearly 200 miles per hour. Join them and purchase your tickets today at Daytona500.com and get ready to experience one of the best atmospheres in sports. As we mentioned with Greg Byrne, so much excitement for the start of Crimson Tide basketball season, and you could really feel that last week at SEC Media Days at the Grand Bohemian Hotel in Mountain Brook in the Birmingham area. Just all the coaches were there from all 14 schools, the men's team on Wednesday, the women's team on Thursday, and we were able to cover that here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network and have some one-on-one conversations with Alabama coaches and players. And we'll start our conversations with Nate Oats, the head coach of the Crimson Tide basketball team, who talked about how the men's side had a very busy offseason. New players, new coaches on his staff. It was a busy time for Nate Oats, and he joined us at the SEC Media Days in Birmingham. Welcome back to Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. Roger Hoover at SEC Media Days in Mountain Brook, joined by the head coach of the Crimson Tide, Nate Oats. And Coach, Roll Tide, is this an unofficial start to the season for you when you get to come here?
Yeah, I guess one of them. I mean, everything kind of gradually works into the first game now. There's first practice 6 weeks out, so you kind of have a long time leading into it, but yeah, this kind of lets you know people are starting to pay attention to it. Season's close, it's less than 3 weeks away, so we need to get healthy and get ready to play our first game.
Yeah, what steps has this team taken ever since official practice began?
I mean, you got to put in your defense, put in your offense, all the stuff you usually do. You also got to get healthy. We're a little bit banged up right now, so our primary goal between now and Game 1 is to make sure we get as many guys as healthy as we can get them.
How 24/7 is it now trying to build a roster for a new year? How busy were you over the summer, not only just with the roster, but also building a new coaching staff as well?
Yeah, I mean, we were really busy. This is our busiest offseason. It was great that all three of our assistants were able to get head jobs in Division I. It speaks to the job that they did, the job that the entire program was able to do, and the level that we were able to raise our program to, that all three assistants were able to get head jobs in one off season. So it was great for the program, super happy for them and their families, but also made for a very hectic, busy off season, replacing not just them, but the support staff that they took with them, having to fill a roster, and with the transfer portal and everything now, there's a lot more turnover every year. So not only do we have the typical turnover for a modern day roster, but we also had turnover with the staff. So it was a busy off season, but I love our staff. I love our roster. I think we're primed for another really good season, and I think our fan base will really like the players and the staff both.
Still the blue collar style that you want, even with some of the new assistants coming in?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we built something that works. We built something that fits our personality here. It's not going to go away from it. We hired guys that fit the way we want to do things, and staff's bought in. That staff, I mean, you go through each one of the staff, they all had really good options. Panona had a multi-year contract in the NBA that could have easily stayed. They all wanted to come to our program for what we built it. Austin was winning the Southland Conference. He won it 2 out of the last 3 years. He could have stayed on as a head coach at a Division I level where he's winning. And Preston had multiple options this summer as well. So those guys chose to come here. They chose to come to a program that was already developed to a point, and now they're trying to make it even better.
Well, we look forward to opening night, November 6th. Coach, thank you for joining us. Have fun on Media Days. Roll Tide.
Thanks. Roll Tide.
Where will you be on game day? Be a part of the action with a premium reserve tailgate from Game Day Done Right. Get your group together, pick your game and tailgate package, add on catering, beverages, and other tailgating amenities, and let Game Day Done Right take it from there. Enjoy all the fun of game day with zero stress. Visit GameDayDoneRight.com to reserve your tailgate today. For your next tailgate, just add people. Game Day Done Right is the exclusive provider of reserved tailgating opportunities for the University of Alabama and offers packages for all group sizes for a single game or for the entire season. As we continue on Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR, some of our coverage from SEC Media Days last week in Birmingham. It was Richard Hendrix who again got to cover that event for us here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network. He had a one-on-one conversation with women's basketball head coach Kristy Curry, learning about some of the newcomers on her roster, plus what the foreign tour meant for this Alabama women's basketball team that will start the season on November 6th.
Richard Hendrix for Crimson Tide Sports Network, and we're here in Birmingham, Alabama at SEC Media Days alongside Alabama women's basketball head coach Kristy Curry. Coach, what does it feel like to be back in Birmingham?
Oh, it's always good. You know, it's a beautiful morning, and we really appreciate the way the city of Birmingham and the SEC supports, you know, this event. It's my 25th Media Day, so pretty blessed.
What did you learn about your team this offseason?
A lot. You know, we were really fortunate. We had an opportunity this summer to have all of our new faces on campus the entire time, and took a foreign tour to Spain, and you know, we were able to have 18 practices and then just a really, really solid trip, you know, for a lot of reasons as far as the X's and O's, but more importantly as far as the chemistry. And I really like this team, a ton of potential, and excited.
Did you learn anything about your newcomers on this roster?
A lot. You know, I tell you what, I learned that they all have competed at a high level prior to Alabama. They all understand work ethic, and they're just a fun group to coach. You know, I think they again, I keep using the word potential. We have the potential to have another really great year, and I'm excited.
What will be the expectations for this team this season?
Oh, it's always, you know, to compete for a SEC championship and to get back to the NCAA tournament. We're on the rise, and I just think, you know, we continue to do some really special things in the off season as far as our recruiting goes, and you bring in a great group like we did with 5 returnees, and they understand the expectations, and that's why you come to Alabama, so we're excited about the future.
Well, thank you so much, Coach. Enjoy SEC Media Days. For Crimson Tide Sports Network, I'm Richard Hendrix, and Roll Tide.
In the beginning was Daytona, the great American race. Every driver looking to be remembered. Every fan looking for something they'll never forget. Secure your seats now at Daytona500.com.
Not only were we able to have conversations with Nate Oats and Kristy Curry, but the players that were representing Alabama as well. First, on the men's side, Richard Hendrix caught up with Aaron Estrada and Mark Sears. And then on the women's basketball side, it was Sarah Ashley Barker as well as Loyal McQueen getting the honor of representing Alabama basketball at SEC Media Days.
Guys, just want to talk about you guys in the upcoming season. Alabama coming off of a championship. What are your thoughts for the new season?
For me, I think it's going to be really fun this year. We got a lot of new guys. You know, it's basically a whole new team, honestly. So, but we got, like I said, we got a lot of pieces. We got a lot of new guys that came in ready to work real hard. So I'm super excited about it. I think it's going to be a good year.
Now, Mark, you came into the league last year, newcomer, transferred into Alabama from Ohio. All SEC guard, won a championship in your first year. What do you expect your team to do and your expectations for the team for the upcoming year?
Very, very proud of the year I had last year, and a very successful year as a team we had. And, you know, now it's a new chapter, and we're looking forward to new things, and we're looking for another exciting year this year.
Aaron, this is your first year into the league, first experience in the SEC. What are your thoughts on it?
I mean, I kind of only played against my teammates. Most of these guys weren't even in the SEC last year, and it's been fun to be able to compete with a bunch of new guys. So.
Mark, this is your first time at the SEC Media Days. What do you think about the experience?
Exciting experience. We're going to see where it goes today.
All right, thank you, guys. And for the Crimson Tide Sports Network, Richard Hendrix, Mark Sears, and Aaron Estrada. Thank you. Richard Hendrix for Crimson Tide Sports Network here alongside Sarah Ashley Barker and Loyal McQueen. Girls, tell me a little bit about your summer as we're here at SEC Media Days in Birmingham, Alabama.
You know, our summer was really good. We had opportunity to, in July, have really good up and down practices just because we were getting ready to go to Spain. So we got some of those practices that we usually wouldn't get in the summer, which was amazing. And it was just a lot of fun, just the chemistry that we needed to all have and just bring it together and just getting to know each other. We have 6 newcomers, 3 freshmen, 3 transfers. So it was really just building on each other, building what we're going to be able to do next year. But it was awesome.
Loyal, what does it mean here to be in SEC Media Days here in Birmingham, Alabama?
Yeah, I mean, it means a lot. This is my first time, so I'm excited to be here with SA and Coach Curry. So I'm excited to just put our program on display and just let everyone know, that we're here to compete this year.
What are you looking forward to most in this upcoming season?
To win.
Sarah Ashley, what are you looking forward to most in this upcoming season?
Honestly, to win, but also have fun. I think that, people try and get you to win. But at the end of the day, sometimes you just got to tell yourself, you're 21, 19, 18, 20 years old. Just go have fun with it, and God's going to take care of it all. So, yes, sir.
Well, thank you so much for Crimson Tide Sports Network. Enjoy the SEC Media Days. Thank you. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
The 2024 Daytona 500 is right around the corner, and you won't want to miss this once-in-a-lifetime experience. Bring the whole family and purchase your tickets today at Daytona500.com. Hope you enjoyed our basketball coverage from SEC Basketball Media Days last week in Birmingham. We're certainly excited about the start of the season coming up on November 6th with a doubleheader in Tuscaloosa for Alabama men's and women's basketball. Football with the open date this week, it's the perfect time to take a look back at what fun we had on Saturday. The third Saturday in October, Alabama trailing 20-7 at halftime, but things turned around in the second half. Crimson Tide outscoring the Vols 27-0 in the second half to get that win, and everyone can enjoy some cigar smoke. It was a lot of fun for us inside the Alabama Credit Union broadcast booth as we take a look back to our booth cam highlights, the Royal Furniture booth cam, streaming live, of course, on Facebook and YouTube for each and every Alabama football game. Here's all the fun that we had on Saturday.
Remember, Coach Saban on Thursday night asked for noise from the fans. And Lord, everybody is responding to that request. Here's the snap. Milroe looks, fires, end zone, touchdown, Jermaine Burton. That was a bullet, a 10-yard bullet, and my goodness, did Alabama ever need that? Now those men go towards the formation, so everybody is tight. The quarterback gets the snap, goes right, cuts left, and I don't know if he got there. I don't know if he got there. I don't know if he made it. I think Alabama took away the outside, and when he tried to cut back, I don't believe he made it.
Yeah, he's short. Dallas Turner had a chance in the backfield, and like you said,
about that?
He wanted to get to the edge, and Dallas Turner forced it back up, and there was just enough help. I thought he was going to be able to get across the 35, but he did not.
Milroe on the give. Jace McClellan, he's down the near sideline. He takes off scampering, and he's out across the 45, down to the 43-yard line. A 29-yard run on the first play from scrimmage. Here's the snap. Milroe stands in, loads up long, looking, got him, touchdown! Touchdown! Isaiah Bond, 46 yards. Touchdown, Alabama. Lordy, we needed that. It'll be a 42-yard field goal attempt for Will. Kick is on the way. It is up. And it is good. Milton looks right, looks left, looking down. Sack number 1. Everybody from Tennessee huddling up together. In tight. Shotgun snap, give to Sampson. He's not going to get there.
Not even close.
That was Jihad Campbell. Jihad Campbell. Now in motion. Here's Milroe, has protection. He throws across the middle. It is caught and held on to magnificently by Jermaine Burton. Now Jace McClellan in the lineup. He's lined up to the right side of Milroe. Here comes Alabama now on the give. Far side, cutting it up the field and taking it in. Jace McClellan. Touchdown, Alabama. Give a big thank you to Malik Benson, who threw a wonderful block. Here's the kick. Plenty of leg. On the way. It is good. It is good. A 50-yard field goal. Alabama now watching as the quarterback, Milton, stands in. The ball is knocked free. It's picked up by Alabama. And rumbling in for the touchdown is the Crimson Tide's Jihad Campbell. 2:07 to go. Big fourth down play. Milton stands in, backpedals. There's going to be some holding. Are they going to call it? No. But the ball is thrown away out of the back of the end zone, looking for Squirrel White. And that is an incompletion. And Alabama is within shouting distance of a win. Here now the quarterback under pressure, and he is going down all the way back at his own 40-yard line. Dallas Turner, Chris Braswell combined for the second sack of the day for the Alabama Crimson Tide. The Tide is back to their winning ways here in 2023. Final of 34-20.
And now I can take a sigh of relief. This was an awesome win for this Alabama football team. A completely different football club in the second half from what we saw. I mean, nothing was going right in the first half, but they turned it around. Whatever was discussed, whatever focus these players had, it really showed as they dominated this second half.
Christian Miller, you're normally in the locker room during halftime. What was said that flipped the light switch to get this team to change?
The coaches just told these guys, look, we know we can play a lot better than what we're playing. We just have to go out there and execute and get our mind right. And that's exactly what they did. The switch was flipped. And I'll be honest, we looked a little flustered in that first half by the tempo of the offense, but we definitely answered the bell in the second half and responded the right way. We held them to be scoreless on defense. It came with a crucial turnover with Braswell's sack. But look, my only complaint is we got to do this 60 minutes in the game. I love the way we played in the second half, but we can do that in the first half as well. We just have to come out swinging.
Indeed so, well said.
It's a glimpse of what this team is capable of, and they're proving it on the field of what they're capable of. And like Christian just said, they're awfully dangerous when they play at their potential.
Again, we'll have the booth cam up and running, presented by Royal Furniture, coming up for the LSU Tigers at 6:45 on November 4th. Should be a lot of fun as Alabama looks to stay undefeated in the SEC. Mentioned we have the open date for Crimson Tide football. Basketball is still a week or so away, so it's time to take a look at what's coming up on the Crimson Tide Sports Network, thanks to our friends at Wickles Pickles. They are wickedly delicious. We always have the pickle chips and the relish with us on set. We've got the relish right here. Find out more at wicklespickles.com. Let's see what's coming up across the Crimson Tide Sports Network. Coming up later tonight, a new edition of Hey Coach and the Nick Saban Show from Baumhauer's Victory Grill in Tuscaloosa. Coach Saban will be calling into the show that Eli Gold will host, as we'll kind of take a look back at the first 8 weeks of Alabama football and set the table for what's coming up in November. Also coming up on Monday, we will have an edition of Crimson Tide Rewind, as again, we'll kind of take a look back at where Alabama's been and really start preparing for the LSU game. And another programming note, we will have our normal week of programming coming up next week here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network with Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR, back to Tuesdays and Thursdays at 2 p.m., as well as all of our coverage as well on the CTSN YouTube page, the Alabama Insider Podcast. Even over this weekend, we'll have some clips going, of course, here on our social media platforms, so make sure you follow us to stay up to date with the latest on the Alabama Crimson Tide. And that's going to do it for this week's edition of Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. Huge thank you to all the guests that we had, starting with the Director of Athletics, Greg Byrne, for his time for his monthly conversation, and then the coverage we had at SEC Media Days. Nate Oats, Kristy Curry, as well as 4 players, 2 from the men's team, 2 of the women's team, getting to visit with Richard Hendrix, who did a great job as one of our correspondents at SEC Basketball Media Days. We look forward to catching up with him all throughout the basketball season here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network. Thanks as well to Ethan Caravan, our producer. He put this entire show together. Thanks to all of you for watching as well. From everybody here at the Crimson Tide Sports Network, this is Roger Hoover thanking you again for your time. And now enjoy the open date. We'll be back with more Crimson Drive driven by NASCAR coming up next week on Tuesday and Thursday at 2 p.m. right here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network. Have a great weekend. Roll Tide.